You ask Dr. Cranium if he can spare an empty flask for specimen collection.
Of course, of course. I am always delighted to assist scientific research of any kind, and I have plenty of flasks. You may have this one. Experiments are the meat and drink of science. First, you must come up with a hypothesis based on your understanding of the scientific elements. Then perform an experiment to test the hypothesis. Afterwards, you have a pizza. Earth is for solidity and stability. Air gives freedom and movement. Fire provides power and energy. Water, fluidity and life. Pizza, of course, is the most important element of all. Pizza represents the essence of well-roundedness and regaining strength. Most importantly, you can have it delivered in under half an hour in most areas. A hypothesis is a scientific guess. One predicts the result of an operation, performs an experiment to test the prediction, then has a pizza to celebrate the result. It is very important to stay flexible, however. Sometimes the experiment may give a different result than predicted by the hypothesis. Since real scientists don't like to make mistakes, we always write the hypothesis in pencil. Pizza is a crucial ingredient in many scientific formulae. There is a nearly infinite variation in its effects, depending on whether one starts with pepperoni, mushrooms, artichokes, or plain cheese. One should always order extra pizza in case the experiment requires additional materials. Besides, science is hungry work. Igor is the gravedigger and tombstone carver. Business has been slow lately, perhaps because there are very few people left in town, so Igor sometimes comes in to help me with my work. Igor has had less work of late. The forest is just as dangerous, but there aren't very many people left in town who are stupid enough to go out there at night, you know. I like to think of it as a sort of evolution in action. Igor is carving out quite a niche for himself in the gravestone business. You might say he is well on his way to becoming a rock star. Then again, you might not. The cemetery is outside of town to the east. It has proven a fruitful source of materials for my experiments. There are also some interesting and cryptic puzzles to be solved there. Essential etheric fluid is an important ingredient in my formula for reanimating dead bodies. It contains the essence of the element of water, the most important ingredient in life science. This laboratory is where I perform some of my most important research. Lately, I have been trying to bring life back to a dead body and to brew the perfect cup of tea. Reanimating the dead is just another day's work in the life of a scientist. Even science cannot bring a person back right the way they were, but one can use scientific principles to restore the semblance of life and energy to formerly dead flesh. The one alchemical combination that I have thus far been unable to fully analyze is that of a good cup of tea. I'm sure there must be a way to duplicate the effects of nature, but the results have not been promising so far. Perhaps you would like a cup of spearmint and beefsteak tea? I thought not. This is even harder than rehydration solution and reviving dead tissue. Research is the heart and soul of science. Without constant experimentation to prove or disprove one's hypotheses, the scientist is left trying to solve the world's problems by guesswork. That is hardly the most efficient way to achieve results. I try to maintain a modest selection of useful experimental equipment in my simple laboratory. Unfortunately, it has become very difficult to obtain the most modern scientific accessories since the road out of the valley became closed by the swamp. Ned? Ned? They all call me mad, but what do they know of madness? I am not mad. A bit perturbed about the world situation and how I get so little respect, perhaps, but certainly not mad.
That's really flasking for it. It's empty. You say goodbye to Dr. Cranium.
Please be careful not to break the beakers or crack the flasks on your way out. Come back and visit again. Oh, and if you see Igor, please tell him I still need the fluid.
After some rest, a shiver of cold comes over you. You sense no danger, but even so, you find yourself afraid.
I am what once was the Paladin Piotr. The sorrows of this land are my sorrows, and I cannot rest. Thou art a paladin, and so shall share my fate. Unless ye ease the sorrows of this land and heal the pain.
No one. You're right next to the Burgomeister's office. Breaking down the door is a sure way to end up in jail. The door is locked and probably barred as well. You hear movement on the other side of the door. After a few minutes, you hear someone removing the bar and unlocking the bolts on the other side of the door. You've entered a small but nicely furnished country inn. Stairs lead up to the guest bedrooms. Floor is covered with sawdust and peanut shells. A barrel contains the few shells that managed to land it. There is a silence in the room as everyone looks at you in astonishment and perhaps fear. Finally, the man who is standing speaks.
Welcome to the Hotel Mordavia. Rooms are 15 kopecks for room and board. Pay for 1 week in advance. Your room will be the first room at the top of the stairs. When you want food in the morning or evening, just sit down over there by the door.
Pay the innkeeper for your room and board.
Thank you for your payment.
This giant wild boar's head is a trophy of the Burgomeister's last boar hunt. That must have been one impressive boar. Ornamental plates seem to be the fashionable decoration in country inns from here to Spielberg. A warm fire blazes in the hearth. The large pot near the fire is used to hold ashes until they can be taken out to the garden compost pile. Don't make an ash of yourself. Braids of garlic festoon the walls, lending their pungent aroma to the room. Judging from the menu here, the innkeepers are trying to use it all up as quickly as possible. The chandeliers lend an aura of faded decadence, not to mention some light, on the Hotel Mordavia. This cabinet contains some extra plates, glasses, and silverware. There is also a beautiful and ornate doll on one of the shelves. 3 of the townsmen huddle together. They keep looking in your direction as they talk. You suspect that they are saying something not particularly complimentary about you.